and potential in this uniformly charged sphere. So as you can see over here, the graphs, what we have, the same expression you can see what I have discussed. If I talk about variation of electric field with separation R, the electric field inside is directly proportional to R. Because if you remember, the formula for electric field inside was rho R by 3 epsilon naught. So within, until the surface is reached, the electric field has a value directly proportional to R, unlike in a shell where the electric field was 0 inside. And then at the surface you have electric field 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by R square. And outside the surface the electric field reduces. E is inversely proportional to R square because outside electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by R square. So this is about a charged sphere, not a shell. Let's talk about potential. If I plot the graph, okay, I draw it separately only. This is potential, this is separation. For until at the surface, the potential at center was Vc and potential at surface, it was Vs. So potential at center is 1.5 times the potential at surface. But after that, potential is inversely proportional to R, because for outside point at the surface, it behaves as though the whole charge is situated at center. So here you have learned about variation of electric field and potential for a uniformly charged sphere. Again, I'll repeat, if it is a uniformly charged sphere, it has to be a non-conducting material. Now we move further and we take another important application, the fourth application. Now let's take another very important application, that is application number 4, and that is finding electric field due to a thick or thin infinite sheet of charge. So here you are provided a sheet of charge which is infinitely big, in fact, as compared to the distance of the point where you are looking for the electric field. Maybe you are looking for the electric field at a point P here. In order to find the electric field at point P, the first thing that we look at is assume a Gaussian surface such that point P lies on it. So, and preferably the shape of the Gaussian surface should be same as that of the source charge. So I am taking a Gaussian surface which is somewhat a cuboid over here, such that point P lies on it. In some books where you may be studying otherwise, you may observe that the point P, that the Gaussian surface for the point P is taken to be a cylindrical shape. There is no problem in taking this also. It will be relatively easy to make it, to draw it. But it is just only first time. Once you have a practice to draw this also, you can do it, no problem. So, but this is in accordance with what we have been saying since the very first application. The shape of the Gaussian surface should be preferably same as that of the source charge. So because the source of charge is on a sheet, so I have taken the Gaussian surface to be cuboid. Now here, the First thing that we have done is we have assumed a Gaussian surface, and then the next step, that is look for the direction of electric field. So electric field, due to this Gaussian, due to this distribution of charge on sheet, would be like this, normal to the sheet. So step 2 you have done. Now step 3, take a patch on every kind of surface and look for the flux through it. So I would say I have one surface which is this one, left flat surface and right flat surface. Through this left flat surface also the electric field is here, area vector is here, I call it EA. Through right flat surface also the electric field is here and area vector is here, I call it EA. But on these surfaces the area vector is here and electric field is here, so there is no flux. Similarly on this surface over here the electric field is here and area vector is here, it will provide no flux. So the total flux would be 2EA. So we have obtained total flux, net flux. Now what is charge inside? Now this is interesting here. What is charge inside? I am having two options to write for the charge inside. In case if it is a thin sheet, charge inside is sigma A, and if it is a thick sheet, the charge inside is 2 sigma A. Now what is that? Why I am writing the charge inside to be sigma A or 2 sigma A? This is a thin sheet. In this thin sheet, if you have a charge which is existing somewhere here, charge, it is so thin that the same charge would be also providing electric field here as well as here. It is such a thin sheet that the charge, there are not many layers of charge. Instead, the same charge in one layer is also acting as a charge for the other direction also. So the same charge is providing electric field here and same charge is providing electric field on the other side. So this is a thin sheet. Here, if I take particular area, the charge in that area will be just sigma A, and it's a thick sheet. In thick sheet, as you can see here, the charge would be on this surface also and the charge would be on this surface also. So if I take a particular area, the charge inside would be sigma A from this side and sigma A from this side, 2 sigma A. And that's why we have said, if it is a thin sheet, which is generally clearly mentioned in the questions that you will be asked, if it is a thin sheet, then the charge density would be just sigma A. And if it is a thick sheet, mean it has got two layers, so sigma A here and sigma A here. If it is a thick sheet of some conducting material, even then charge will not remain within, so charge will just remain at the surface, so it will be 2 sigma A. So I have this point, so I can call it 2, I can call it 3. In this case, if we apply Gauss theorem for thin sheet, we'll say 2 EA net flux is equal to sigma A. So electric A by epsilon naught. So electric field is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This is in case of thin sheet. And in case of thick sheet, 2 EA is equal to charge inside 2 sigma A by epsilon naught. So electric field will be sigma by epsilon naught. So I am writing the result once again to you. The result is you have a sheet of charge which has a charge density sigma, and due to this you are looking for the electric field at a point P. The electric field will either have a value sigma by 2 epsilon naught if it is a thin sheet, and electric field will have a value sigma by epsilon naught if it is the case of a thick sheet. So in case of thick sheet, you have it sigma by epsilon naught. But in both cases, you can see electric field is independent of r, distance of this point from the sheet, because this is an infinitely large sheet of charge. So this is an infinitely large sheet of charge, and due to this the electric field due to thin sheet sigma by 2 epsilon naught, and if it is a thick sheet then it will be sigma by epsilon naught. This will keep in mind. So generally in most of the questions you will find the example of thin sheet. If nothing is said about the sheet, then automatically you will take it as a thin sheet. If it is a thick sheet, then it will be certainly mentioned in the question. Now after getting this result, now as special case, let's take electric field due to combination of sheets. So you have electric field due to combination of some two sheets of different charge densities and maybe different sign of the charge. First case, when we are taking when both are positively charged. So you have here two sheets, both are positively charged, but they are charged with different charge densities. And what we are looking for is electric field in the region 1, electric field in the region 2, and electric field in the region 3. Remember, electric field due to sheet of charge is independent of distance. Now, if you are looking in the region 1, I would say electric field, there are two electric field here. Due to sigma 1, there is an electric field sigma 1 by 2 epsilon naught, and it's a case of thin sheet. And due to 2, also the electric field will be sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught. So electric field in the region 1 will be sigma 1 plus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught. Now what about the central region? One will provide here E1 and other will provide here E2. Now if whichever is bigger, if sigma 1 is bigger, then E net will be, or E2 will be sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught. And in third region, due to E1 and E2, they will be in the same direction. So the net electric field in the region 3 would be sigma 1 plus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught. So you can see in the first region the net electric field is here. In the second region, in the third region the net electric field is here. And in the second region the net electric field is one minus another, whichever sigma is bigger. So this is electric field due to combination of two charge sheet. The other case, when both are oppositely charged. So in this situation, you have got two sheets. One is having charge density sigma 1 and another may be having a charge density sigma 2 but minus sigma 2. Now what will happen in region 1 or region 2 or region 3? In region 1, there will be a net electric field, I can say, which is sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught. I hope you would understand. Due to this positive, the electric field will be away from it. And due to this negative, the electric field will be towards it. due to a negative, the electric field will be always towards it. So in this left region, you can say it is E1 minus E2 or E1 plus minus E2. And in the central region, over here, you can see due to this positive it will be sigma 1 by 2 epsilon naught, and due to this negative it is sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught. So here they are getting added, and it is in this direction, positive to negative. But in third region, due to positive it will be away from it, and due to negative it will be towards it. So here again E3 will be, or E3 will be sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught. Here, whichever is bigger, sigma 1 or sigma 2. Now assume what will happen if sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2 and one is positive and one is negative. So I take this case where you have one sigma, this has got sigma and this has got charge density minus sigma. What will be the electric field in the region 1? Answer is 0. Sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught. In this region, you will have electric field everywhere and it will have value sigma by epsilon naught. Sigma 1 by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught. And here in this region, the electric field will be 0. And we call it a uniform electric field. Why? Because irrespective of its distance from the plates, everywhere the electric field has got same direction and same value, sigma by epsilon naught. So this is something which is going to be very important in the next part, that is capacitors. Electric field between the two plates oppositely charged with the same charge density. There will be a uniform electric field sigma by epsilon naught between them. So that's how you have learned all the 4 applications of Gauss's theorem, and they are very easy, and you have seen how easily were you able to find the electric field due to continuous charge distribution.